All right, so this is another Brewster Baseball podcast. I have 3 people with me today, which means I will just be moderating and not having to do anything and just sitting here recording. But Fred Holmes is back, even though I lost all my audio the last time he recorded with me. He's nice enough to show up again. And he runs the what team? Mexico City with all their rainouts. And Randy is, of course, here because he is here every time I do a podcast.
Damn straight.
And if he runs San Fernando. And then Stephen Lane, who's also done one of these with me before, GM of the Long Beach Surfers. I'm Ted Schmidt, GM of the California Crusaders, and I'm sure that you know that if you've listened to any of these before and are tired of my voice. Hi guys, welcome. Thanks for showing up on short notice.
Oh yeah.
So this was going to kind of be like a year in review, just talking about the things that we thought were interesting or noteworthy, and then we'll kind of get into some playoff predictions, if that sounds good with everybody else.
Sure.
Who wants to start? Anybody got something they were, just kind of big surprise for the year, or something they thought about how the year went? Or I'll talk about my team if you want, but if anybody's got anything else.
We have the very, very top-heavy Frick, just in general. I mean...
Yeah, I was just looking at that, too. I was actually just looking at the Frontier that had Seattle, 30 games over 500, and then Boise in second, 20 games under.
Well, but even like 5 teams over 96 wins is not, that's almost unheard of.
Well, there was a year not too long ago where I think there were 300-win teams. But I think it was in the Johnson, or I don't know what league it was in. We've switched so many times. But no, we are top-heavy. And we have a balanced schedule, so it's not like we can sit here and say that, like, well, Seattle, that whole division's bad, and they just beat up on those bad teams. No, they played everybody equally, so we really just do have, like, 2 distinct tiers of teams. That's kind of, I don't know, are any of these teams really, like, a surprise this year? Anybody that you thought, like, kind of was amazingly different than what you expected?
As far as the good teams know, I thought Calgary would be better than they were, but...
Yeah, I didn't think Madison would be as miserable as they are either.
They got hit with injuries.
Sorry, Chris, it's true.
Madison got whacked with injuries.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But still.
I haven't been a huge fan of Madison. I hate to be... I like Chris. He's a great guy, but I haven't been a fan of his team construction for a while. I think the plan that he is trying, I think, is not a good one. And I don't necessarily think that I knew that before he started. I think it's just become evident. And the problem is when you draft and build a certain way and it just turns out to not work, you're kind of stuck with those players.
Yeah.
What do you think happened with Calgary? I'm perplexed. I don't know what happened to Calgary. I mean, they started the year with Cristobal Hernandez and Jimmy Greenwood and Julio Velasco, and with like Noonien Soong, who I made fun of a month ago with you guys, as a back-end starter, and some other guys. They had an okay-looking bullpen. They should have been able to hit. What happened? Does anybody...
Is Greenwood finally the player we thought he was? That we've been saying he's been for years and years?
You mean like the bad way or the good way?
Like the bad way.
I don't think so. He was an average starter this year, which is kind of disheartening, but, like, he wasn't bad. He wasn't, like, someone you couldn't win with, I don't think. I don't know, Steven, he's your guy from a long time ago. What was your big motivation for getting rid of him?
I just pulling up his stats. I think he kind of is what he is at this point, and that's basically a really good control league average starter, unfortunately. I think that's just about it.
Well, but again, you're probably right. I'm sorry.
At the same time, he could be a number 2 or 3 on a good team, which is what he would have been in Calgary.
Yeah, like that's the thing is that, you would think, so still, right? Like, maybe he's not as good as we thought, and Julio Velasco has been known to suck at times, and it's like everything went wrong, though, right? Like, every single player had the worst year they could have. I mean, are they really, like, a 68 and 94 team bad? Like, this is somebody that we thought could win the division.
His pitching was terrible. It was really bad.
Yeah.
For a team that was trying to compete, his staff was miserable.
Do you think it was supposed to be miserable? I just don't, like, I'm looking at these guys now and they look terrible. I don't know I thought there were better players in there. I'm not sure where those players went.
He also only hit 171 home runs all season,
which isn't the model for his victory. Right? That's not how they work. Yeah, his teams they hit home runs.
Well, and for what it's worth, also I was just looking at because I have that pitching spreadsheet that I'm working on up, and I looked up Greenwood, and he is. Well, from what the league average has been the last few years, he is below that, at least by that metric. Now, take into that what you will, but
that's kind of surprising. You think so? It just seems like they got. I mean, and Rupert Grant was a disaster. I think he's done, right? Like Rupert Grant's, he's now a 7-contact 4 ABK right-handed batter. He's toast. Like like he'll hit a bunch of.
They didn't even except for Soriano too. It's not like they had injuries. Like like Madison, you could say, okay, Rader was out, Dempsey was out. Like they just got whacked with injuries and, like you said, bad pitching. But Calgary didn't really have injuries.
Right, and Karyabwite, she's and he's a good player, and Santiago Sanchez is serviceable. He's decent. Francisco Marin's decent. Susumu Nakanashi should be a good bat, but he really kind of struggled his first year. I just don't. I can see that they got old fast. I still can't believe. I can see this team being 500 unexpectedly, but they're terrible, just terrible.
Yeah.
Well, and also, how many forks are sticking out of Tony Franco at this point? Like.
All of
the entire drawer.
Somewhere there's somebody. There's a fan that's just begging for more forks. Just like I need more forks for Tony Franco. That is unfortunate.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, or at least in serious discussion for it. But I mean,
do you think he is? Do you think he is? I don't know, man.
I mean, that defense will at least get him.
I'm a terrible judge on these things, but guys who like the peak. I mean, he had 2023 to 2026 where he was at least a 4-WAR player. It was a peak of 7.5. I mean,
I think we're just gonna do fucking Dixon is so mad. First we keep out Cochran, and now we're gonna dither because Tony Franco's close. We're just gonna he's just gonna be pissed. All right, let's move on from sadness.
I guess that's kind of covers the Frick. What about Fred over your and
no, we're not done with the Frick. Well, don't tell me when I'm done with the Frick.
All right, moderator.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm in charge of this podcast. I'm not even drunk yet. Twin Cities came back. I thought they were in bad shape. They came back. They made it competitive.
They sure did. I mean, competitive-ish. Like they almost got a wild card.
Yeah.
They almost knocked our buddy Steven there out of the playoffs.
Hey, don't knock the wild card spot, man.
Would you have still done this podcast if you'd gotten knocked out, or would you have been too busy being sad?
No, I would be on this podcast.
And we would be ribbing him mercilessly.
I know.
Mercilessly.
I probably wouldn't have written any team news today, but
yeah, I should be doing that, but instead I'm doing this. So
is Long Beach going to be back next year? Forget this year entirely. The playoffs coming up. I think you're actually a better playoff team than you are a regular season team, but we'll get to that later. Do you think you'll be competitive next year? You've looked like a team with a closing window for a while now. I keep saying that, and you keep proving me wrong.
Smoke and mirrors.
I definitely think we're going to be back next year. I think that you look at the Yelanian trade, Yelanian for best, and that's kind of an example of what I'm trying to do is extend this window.
0.6 this year. I'm in good shape. Year one. I got the under.
I think he topped out this year at 1.7 WAR, and then had just a dreadful August-September. And lost a whole war.
Dude, DeFazio did that. DeFazio did that for me. At the beginning of August, he had 5.1 WAR. He now has 5.5 WAR. Essentially,
what was the best wager you guys have again? It's under.
I think it's over/under for 2 for 5 years, right? Isn't it 10 or something like that? Or
yeah, it's 8 for the next 5 years. Total of 10 WAR, and then it's $500,000 for every win above or below 10.
That's fantastic.
I am screwed.
I hope he ends up.
I'm
I
screwed
hope he
on
ends
this
up with 10 on the dot.
because
He just needs to get that avoid K up, and he's going to be a monster.
I do not think he'll be a monster. I think he'll be. Now that I look at him and that little bump, I think he'll be a solid everyday player. I do not.
I
think
think he's an inner circle Hall of Famer.
solid
Ted.
2 war
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ugh. I hope he's terrible. I hope he's just complete trash.
He's probably going to be. Well, garbage.
He's a young guy on your team, so he will fall apart.
Yeah, but he didn't draft him.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
I'm gonna laugh when he gets to 10 by the end of year 4 and then suffers a season-ending injury in the opening week
And we have
of year 5.
we have to argue about what that means.
Yeah. He puts up negative 0.1 war in a week and finishes with 9.9.
That'll be great. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, let's look at some other teams. Yellow Springs is what we thought they were. Omaha continues to move forward. I think they were maybe a little better than I expected, but not.
You're not surprised.
Not a ton. Des Moines. Too much talent. Too much talent to lose. Too many holes to win.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Madison. Any comments on? Tell you what, I will tell you what I think of your Bears if you'll tell me what you think of my Crusaders, Randy.
Fair. And then the other 2 can chime in as necessary.
All right. I think you over. I think you. Well, you know what? You didn't know. I think you were overachieving early in the year when you were sticking with me, and I guess now that looking, I think you've caught up to your talent level. Ernie Kinney, man, what a deal for you that's turning out to be.
Well, Flores hasn't been too bad for you either, so I think that's one of those win-win.
Flores is going to be out of the league in 2 years.
Really?
He has hit the lump monster. He is now 6'6"
Oh!
I do not know how he hit 290 this year. I have no clue.
I'll be honest, I didn't look at the ratings. I just saw the stats, and it's like that's a good version of Flores based on the stats.
Yeah, I don't know how he was a 4-win player this year with like a right-handed 6-contact 3-eye. I don't know. It's bad though. He's just. Oh well, though.
Well, you've got the conveyor belt of pitching, so
I do.
Jeez.
I do. That's what I do.
How does Flores hit like that?
Yeah.
No clue.
In the same season that JJ McQuaid tanks. My lord.
Well, that's right. Hey, Ted, you know who you got coming up? You got Felipe Rosado, so that'll help.
Nope. Tore his rotator cuff. He's out for 9 months.
Oh, I'm very well aware of that fact.
I
don't worry. I just saw we were going to do this, so I decided to save it. But,
yeah. I hate you. I could have had Wee.
No, I wasn't going to give you Wee for Rosado. I'd given you Wee for Zeitler.
I would have given, yeah, I would, but I wouldn't. I think I could have talked you into. Everybody's like, oh my god, they're talking about the Wee for Rosado deal again. I could have given you like Rosado and like 2 other things, like and gotten Wee from you. I bet, like someone like Kenny and something else. I don't know. I don't make enough of those trades. I'm going to try to do some of that this offseason. What happened to your offense this year? How come you didn't hit?
Injuries. Gilstrom and Wee each missed like a month. Mendoza missed like 4. I mean, injuries. And then Wee and Gilstrom put up average years, which are not great for them considering they're 2 of the top probably 5 hitters in the league.
Grant Lee rounded into shape, but I'm looking like a real asshat criticizing Nashville so much for that move.
I was going to say that when we got over to Johnson, but is there any way he's not general manager of the year?
Lots. Dude, he's just gonna. He's gonna like send me like just like an envelope full of anthrax. I think this is unsustainable high performance out of a crap ton of players. That's what I think it is.
You're talking about San Fernando, right?
No. Well, yes,
Nashville.
Correct. We'll get to Nashville. San Fernando, it's always unsustainable. It's Randy's team. As soon as they don't sustain it, he'll trade all the players for all of someone else's team.
You don't have to dig too deep to see that San Fernando's overperforming. I'm sorry.
I mean,
we've been saying that since he won the Landis, though.
That being said, there's only 2 teams that have won 90 games the last 4 years. Me and Yellow Springs.
Holy shit, Feliciano Raphael is good. He's getting better.
Yes,
Why
he
is
is.
my players are lumping at like age 21.
That's why.
And yours
That's why.
are getting better.
Vampire.
Jerk.
I mean, put it this way. My 3rd starter is Freddie Delgado, who's probably been one of the better pitchers in the league the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, okay. All right. But I clearly have a superior team to you, right? Like, there's no question about that.
Oh,
I'm just way better.
Yeah, and you had a superior team last year when I was up 3-1 on you in the playoffs and choked it away. So
You're agreeing with me? I was just being a jerk.
No, I mean, your pitching staff is miles better. I mean, yeah, you're the better team. That being said, I don't think we're 10 games apart. I don't think you're 10 games better.
I don't know, man. I'm 4 runs.
If you look at base runs,
like 15.
San Fernando and California are 20 games apart.
Yeah.
20 games.
Yeah,
I think one reason that my team is undersold by things like that is because I have Miguel Macias anchoring my bullpen, and I just don't lose one-run games with him. I just don't.
No, that's if the game's smart enough to use him correctly. You don't. And honestly,
I think that 73 innings is not nearly enough for Miguel Macias to be pitching.
The thing is, he only has 2 stamina, I think. So I don't want to throw him he can't be one of those 2-inning guys. That won't work.
No, he'll get hurt.
That's fair.
That'll just end badly. I'd rather have 73 innings of lights out dominance than 100 innings of good.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, you look at I guess I can't really compare anybody to how I manage my bullpen, but you look at my top 3 bullpen guys are 128, 117, and 97 innings.
But those guys could all start, right? I know McCone can and does.
Well,
McCone can, sure, kind of could, but the 97 is Dylan Young. I worked his 35-year-old ass off.
That's true.
I would have had 200 inning guys, but one of them, my best reliever, got hurt. So I'm trying to mimic you. I still think you're leveraging the crap out of a good bullpen structure, and I've been ripping you off for a couple of years now. So Valencia is what we thought Valencia would be. Hawaii. I would like Hawaii to get better.
He will get better.
Mike's good
eventually.
Right? When I came into this league, Mike was hard to beat, and I don't know what's taking him so long to rebuild because I know that he knows what he's doing.
He keeps losing all his good prospects to the NBA and shit.
I forgot about
Or
that.
for personal reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
They just donate a kidney to somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I like his pieces, but I've liked his pieces for 2 years now, and he just kind of...
I do have to say, Iron Knife came roaring up like a freight train. He was stuck for a long time.
That makes me happy and sad, because I want that guy so hard.
I've wanted him for so long.
And then he like I said, he was stuck, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he figures it out now.
I'd love to see him in the Brewster next year. I don't care if he's still...
I'd be stunned if he's... I frankly wouldn't be shocked to see him the opening day starter.
For Mexico City.
In the rain.
Exactly. A knuckleball in the rain. I mean, what's not to love?
God help your catchers.
Well, they'll just...
Pray for the umpires.
Screw those guys. They're horrible. They're jerks anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seattle's really good. I'm kind of scared of Seattle. I think... I don't know why. I just don't have a real good feel for how good they are, and I think they might be better than we kind of think.
Yeah, Seattle is Seattle's a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but I am very suspicious of these teams like Seattle and like Huntsville that go all the way to one-handedness. Like Huntsville, all lefties. Seattle, they're all righties. They have 3 non-righties on the roster.
Well, he didn't used to be. I think this is more of just a what happened than a
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, absolutely. Not that he's intentionally building his team that way, but it's I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out in my series against him here. But
worth noting with Seattle too, they're the only Frick League playoff team that did not have a 5-game losing streak this year.
Oh, cool.
Not all year. I looked it up because I noticed that Ron had 3, And so I was like, oh, is that like common, or does everybody else? And everybody else had at least one except for Seattle.
And Juan Escobar just keeps hitting, which is nice.
Even though he's starting to lose his ratings too.
Yeah, he's lost a bunch of them, but at least I think next year is probably the year he just dies. Probably is what's going to happen.
I find it interesting that his catching situation's kind of a nightmare too. I mean, Garza's okay, but he's got Carter starting.
Yeah.
Is this the same Jeremy Carter that?
Yeah.
Ted, you and I have ripped on every single free agent podcast for like the last 4 years.
Well, but not this year, right? Because he only got paid $2.6 million. So, like, that's about right, as opposed to when he was getting like 4 and 5 for no reason.
Well, and he didn't get paid 2.6 by Des Moines, like he did a couple years ago.
Right. Well, yeah, that made no sense. So the other thing here with, you mentioned he's right-handed bat heavy, but like he's got the right kind of right-handed bats, and those are guys with like iron ABK, like the 6-7 contact, like don't walk right-handed bats are trash. Like they're just not, unless their contact's huge. Fred's over there just stewing, just like wait a minute, Ted.
Whatever.
Like if the extreme contact, like if you're like an 8 or a 9, yeah, fine. But like 6-7 contact with like no, with you don't walk. There's a ton of those guys, and they're just not. They're not very good.
Holy man, Nitro put up almost 6 WAR.
Yeah,
Jesus Gonzalez.
Yeah, Nitro.
What the hell?
I don't know what the hell. Yeah, like Brett's guy, not new Brett, but old Brett's guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Just one of those years. What a year! Talk about year in review. This is the 31-year-old hasn't been relevant for like a decade.
No, he's their team MVP.
Jeez.
Randy, I assume you're already drunk. What are you drinking?
I'm like a couple in, but not drunk yet.
Oh, okay. What do you have?
Heineken, because it was either that or like I needed some cans that would fit in my hotel room.
Aren't you fancy?
That's terrible though. Pick better cans.
I just cracked open a PBR I didn't pay for, so
that's a That's nice.
That's the only situation you can get me to crack open a PBR.
Oh,
I'm not even sure.
I love PBR. I hate both of you. They're speaking of PBR, random non-Brewstery story, off topic for a little bit. There's the building my dad works in is a converted convent. It's across the street from a Catholic hospital, and it got converted into like another multi-purpose building. And in the office area, there's this creepy door that's about like in a hallway that you can just walk by a billion times without noticing it. It's about like I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet wide. Like it's just this little tiny door, and you open the door, you go into this tiny fucking staircase that was clearly built later, and the person that had bought it from the nuns originally was like hiding illegal Filipinos in there for like his whole family and other people for like a decade. It is like
this sounds like the case line for Law and Order.
It is like murder hole central up there. Like you go up there and it's like there are bodies and all. There's like weird plot, like just weird cupboards that open into the walls, and like it's just like you think you're gonna find bodies in anyone. The reason I'm thinking of this is
because it's coming out on Netflix next month.
Right. About 10 years ago was when I discovered this place. I was like, where does this go? My dad's building. We walked up in there, and it was just nothing in here has been touched since like they found this guy and like chased him out of the country, and nothing up there has ever been touched or moved. And I found a pull top PBR can.
Yes.
Unopened.
You crack it, it's probably still good.
It's probably as good as it ever was, yeah.
Now it's just Bud Select.
All right, random diatribe. Anyway, so we've covered Boise. What do we think about? Anybody have any thoughts on Boise?
I would just like to say, Brett's going to want me to say this, that the year that Godzilla had for Boise before he got hurt.
That's what I was going to bring up, because why was I wrong, right? Like, I have not been strong on that guy, and man, good Lord, what a year. Too bad he got hurt. He did bump. I will say that, like, the Godzilla...
He bumped his contact.
The Godzilla I was bashing was one contact lower. Not that means anything. I was wrong. I think that was peak, though. I don't think he's going to do that every year, but
I don't know.
Shots fired.
But
Sorry, that was
Yeah.
that was for Brett. That was for Brett.
Oh, too bad. Like when Vancouver was open again, were you hitting up Brett at all? See if you could harass him into coming back.
Ron PM'd him.
Oh, man.
He's got too much pride. He'll never. He won't come back. He'll come back, but it'll be.
Yeah, he will.
He'll come back only under certain conditions.
I don't even want to know what those are. That's unfortunate. I don't know. Boise's got new blood. You think we're going to see anything out of Boise anytime? Do we think Al is Al Hoot? I think no. But do we
think Al is who?
I'm going to sit out this one because I wasn't around for that.
I wasn't either. But the legacy is so strong that I know who Hoot is.
Well, we were on for Avery though, and that was Hoot.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but you never know.
I did some. If this is Hoot, it's impressive because I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but this is a real guy who has a job and a picture. I did some stalking once. People were like, "Is this Al Hoot?" And I was like, "I don't know. I got nothing else to do." Like this,
is it Saganga?
I don't know. This is a dude. So either like Al Hoot has always been this guy, or this is a real guy, or Avery Kriebel, Al Hoot, whoever is just the most determined to undermine our league person. Like
the old Trojan horse. Just created a fake person, a fake identity just to play baseball.
Well, not just a fake person, but like 10 fake people that have like bios and backgrounds for like a business. Like it's some financial thing. I can't remember anymore. I'm doing it, but I looked into it. It seems like he's a real person. I'm assuming Rex did too. You just don't need more Hoot. I'm bad enough. Like me and Brett going at it's bad enough. And, oh gosh, I don't want to talk about Vancouver. It makes me sad.
What about Edmonton?
I don't know, man. Edmonton's
Robillard's back, baby.
You know, Robillard's good. I think he's gonna. They're
gonna be better. They're better sooner than they would have been.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Robillard back.
They've got the pieces. They just need somebody that knows what the hell to do with them.
Like Robillard.
Yeah. Is he is this his first time back since he left, or did he come back?
He came back for the EBA for a little bit and then left. It was like half a season he managed Rome before they dissolved it, and then he hasn't been back since then.
Okay, because I remember we've had a few people that have that were great and that come back and flaked out immediately. Like I wish Ben Teague would come back and stay, but it always seems like he's back and then a week later he's gone. And I think I think Joe's done that a couple times now, and that's unfortunate. I like him too. I just like people that are, it's always fun when people are involved and give a shit. Okay, so now, as the moderator, I pronounce us done with the Frick League. We have Frick League things. We can finally talk about a league that Fred cares about. It's the only one that cares about the Johnson.
Exactly.
Where do you want to start?
The Johnson.
It's your league.
The Johnson League rain belt.
The rain belt.
The rain belt.
That is awesome. I think it's just you, man, because it does not rain in Vegas or Phoenix or San Antonio. I don't know about Wichita.
That's true. That's true. I don't think it rains much in Wichita either. But
does it rain really that much in Mexico City?
Apparently, the OOTP thinks so.
It really does.
Maybe it's just the smog and everything that it's not rain outs. Maybe it's smog outs.
It's actually just acid rain. That's why I literally can never play in the rain because people just melt from all the pollution in the air.
Did you really? How did you? You played 3 triple headers.
I don't think I have actually.
No, I think Piccoli came back and said that he just can't read a schedule, and it was actually just a bunch of doubleheaders.
Oh, they are doubleheaders. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's still a lot of doubleheaders. You're going to be the guy that's like the worst spoiler ever when you're not in it, because you're going to injure everyone's team. Like all of them.
My favorite thing about this was I've been trying for just everyone's bitching about the rain. I've been trying for so long to figure out how it works to my advantage. I played 29 games in September this year, and I was 20-9. So there you go, right there. Late season, I get
how it works to your advantage.
See, this isn't fair, man.
8 million starters like you have.
Yeah, you got to just load up on starting pitchers, and then when you're set.
I have that.
You are terrible. For years, I've had you pegged as one of the people who just works this game better than I do and does more with fewer people. And now you're using the rain. And he's a big.
Give me far too much credit on that front. I'll give you that much. But I mean, like the rain, it's just kind of fun. It's fun for me to like that. I played my last regular season game October 3rd, and Recty's yanking his hair out when he's sitting.
Well, I appreciate the surfers had to sit around Minneapolis for a week, twiddling their thumbs before they played game 163.
Well, I appreciate it because it gave me a chance to rest my because he skipped the last sim. So I was going to rest my top two guys, but because
normally when he does that, isn't it just?
And now they get full rest.
All right, so reviewing the year, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Are you better than Vegas, or did Vegas get creamed by injuries?
Vegas got creamed by me. I was 8-4 against them in the regular season.
I
beat up on Phoenix.
That's a strong answer.
No, the funny thing for me is when Ron put up his thing, he commented on something in the boards at one point about me having a lot of above average players, and that's kind of right on the head. Like Delage is probably going to grow up to be like, or he's going to be a good player. He'll be an all-star and stuff. And I mean, Placencia is good, but I mean the rest of these guys are kind of like a no. What the hell is happening in the background?
It's not me. I don't even know who it is.
That's Steven. He's being attacked by pots and pans, I believe. That's what's going on.
He can't see through all the smoke and mirrors in his house.
That's the explanation. Sorry, guys. I forgot to hit the mute button.
Oh, that's terrific.
All right. But anyway, no name offense except for like Delage and Placencia and Estrada. Like it's a lot of above average guys, and over 162, it's pretty good. But like I don't know if it's a good success to have in a 7-game playoff series. You know, kind of need your star power to step up and carry you, and that's kind of where my team's lacking on the offensive side. Anyway, like pitching, I'm obviously all right, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think we touched on this a couple during the. I'm so sad we lost that podcast we recorded because you and I, like 2 seasons ago, you and I's like just coincidental level of incredulousness. You remember what I'm talking about? That Seattle had a pitching staff.
Gordon, who the fuck is Gordon Graves?
All these guys came. Glad you remember that. Like that is the reason I spent so much time trying to reconstruct that. Just because that conversation was so good, as both of us were just like, what the fuck? Seattle has pitching? Seattle doesn't have pitching.
That's not a thing.
Oh, it was great. But we touched on, back at that time, Scotty Pendleton really has turned into a much better pitcher than he looked like he was going to be. I don't know if you knew that was going to happen, but like, didn't he have like a 11 fastball and no other pitch above 5 at one point?
Yeah, it was like 11 6 5 6, I think he was. So the curveball and changeup both filled out a little bit, but I almost traded him this season. I almost did it.
What were you gonna?
I almost traded him.
What were you gonna get for him?
I was going to get.
Was he too
Fu Young for him?
Oh. Was he too good? Like, is he too good of a player? He's not average enough to be on your team? Because that's the whole...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I couldn't trade Pendleton for anyone of that quality.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I just didn't think I could do it. I was trying to force Baez down Sean's throat, and he wouldn't take him. So, which is funny because Baez statistically might have been my best pitcher this year by a pretty substantial margin. So...
I love Augie Placencia. I'm so glad he's working out for you. I wish the game hadn't screwed him, because the Augie Placencia he's based on was actually a plus right fielder, and he just the game killed his range. Otherwise, he should.
I don't have any opposition to playing him in DH, so
no.
Stever can whine about his opportunity cost all he wants, but I don't have any problem playing him.
I would like. I think. I think Warner undervalues guys like him, like that just hit and get on base and hit. They don't get a ton of home runs, but 57 doubles is something that should count. That should count for something. I don't know.
That's right. If you listen to Steve, Placencia will never win a Puckett because he doesn't play good defense.
This is
no comment.
Welcome to the podcast where we just entice people to murder us in our sleep. Later on, that's what we're gonna do.
I just want to throw out there, too, that playing Brett Compton at second base this year was incredible.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was doing Zimmer voting. Holy crap.
Yeah, good move. And, like, well, I was going, who is Dashiell Fairborn. Where the hell did this dude come from?
I got him for Madison for Armando Castaneda.
Oh, God. Chris has made some bad trades.
Castaneda helped him. It gave him what he needed. I mean, Fairborn, he's good defensively, but he's a platoon lefty bat.
Yeah, but he's a shortstop, so I don't give a shit.
I know.
Like,
I'm not platooning him. His defense is way too good.
oh, yeah, like 11 range. Like, Jesus. He is the whole shift. You know, just shift everybody else to the other side. Just leave him over there. It'll be fine. It's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm mad at Compton for ruining Sloan Daniels' chance at the Zimmer.
Yep. You're welcome.
I'm just kidding. And people never win a Zimmer.
Fred Holmes, everybody. Smarter than the rest of us. Just not stuck with... Okay. How much do you think you're... I get the feeling that you think you have a better team than Vegas. I honestly, I think you probably do too, because Recht is as weak as he's been in a long time, which is crazy that this is the weak version of the Hustlers, but he's as weak as he's been in a while.
His pitching is not good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I'm happy, but we said during that free agent podcast that Fajardo was a bad idea. Then he goes out and gets hurt in his first start of the year and is done for the season. It's like, well, told you.
I know, I got to be right. More right than wrecked. That makes me feel good sometimes. Because I'm a bitter, sad little man. I don't know, man. Like,
well, it's the same thing with Phoenix too, right? Like they both have good offenses. Like their offenses are probably better than mine, man for man. But I can outpitch both of them.
Yeah, pitching is just, I mean, look at my team. I just think pitching's continually just not valued enough by people. I think it's cheaper to assemble a good pitching staff than it is to assemble a monster offense, and I think it's easier.
Are all of your pitchers homegrown, Ted? Like, have you brought in anybody either by trade or free agency for like the last few years?
Never. So my in the last 15 seasons, I traded for now I'm forgetting his name, the super great closer that fell apart at like 32, 33.
Glendening?
Yeah, I traded for Glendening, and I signed Ronaldo Garza in free agency. I traded,
but all your starters are yours.
Cisco Morales.
Cisco Morales, I found as a scout find and traded him for Glendening and Brian Witten, and then I traded Brian Witten to Fred to get Cisco Morales back.
Yep.
So with that exception, yeah, these are all homegrown, and Diaz, but Diaz doesn't really count anymore because he's done.
Well, it's mine too. I got Baez I signed as a free agent, and Salinas I claimed off waivers, and the rest of the guys are homegrown for me too.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that hard to do. Like, everybody talks about they can't assemble pitching. You just got to dedicate yourself to it. Like draft pitching, and the pitchers that don't turn out, you just throw them in the pen, and you've got a bullpen.
Yeah, I don't have a homegrown pitching staff.
No. I don't think you have to. I mean, you can do this lots of different ways, but like, if you want to just have a completely homegrown pitching staff, you can do it. Like, it's really, really, I'm by no means, I'm a terrible trader. Like, I get no value from trades, and I do fine because of draft pitching.
I feel a lot better. Like, I feel like I can look at a pitcher as a prospect and tell whether they're going to turn out or not. Like batters, I'm pretty clueless. Like everyone I trade for is just kind of a shot in the dark from a prospect standpoint.
I'm with you. I completely agree on that, which is really interesting because I don't know if you remember, I posted a couple of years ago just curious to see like what the league thought, like if they're better at developing and drafting and developing pitchers or hitters, and like I think more than half people said they felt more comfortable with hitters, and that blows my mind because I don't know what to do with them. I suck.
I mean, I feel a lot more comfortable with bats than I do with pitching.
See, that's crazy to me, but I also think draft position has something to do with it because, like, I don't know what to do with the top 10 bats that go. Yeah, sure, those guys are great, but like bats in the second, third, fourth, fifth round, I have no idea what the hell to take there. They're just all a bunch of guys with 5s and 6s. They stay 5s and 6s. Like, I don't know what to do with them.
And not last year.
Well, yeah. Well, last year's great.
I'm just now getting to the point where guys that I drafted. I mean, I've been in the league 5 years now, so some of the guys I drafted in that first draft are just now getting to the point where they're coming up.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I'm as good as I think I am.
Well, lucky you. At my 5th year, my draftees were all lumped.
Well, I guess I need to keep track of all the guys I drafted because they all now play for different teams. But
Well, stats plus will be easy for that.
I'm
So.
surprised
Yeah, that's true.
how poorly I've drafted. When Ron posted that thing, and granted, it's not like skewed for like, it wasn't adjusted for like draft position, but even for that, I have not done well in the draft, and I don't trade for anybody, so I don't really know how I'm in first.
because it's not like you do big free agent splashes either.
Nope.
At least
Because you rigged your ballpark, Ted.
It is because I rigged my ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's best move I ever made.
yeah, you moved the fences in 100 feet. That's the only reason you won.
It is, and I have all left-handed bats. Look at what I'm getting out of Flynn Johnson. it's great. Oh.
You're like Huntsville Light right now.
Well, the difference between me and Huntsville is that I platoon my guys, and I've got a crap ton of right-handed bats. That my record, I think, against right-handers is just as good against my left-handers as good as my record against right-handers, because I don't play my left-handed bats that are marginal against left-handed pitching. That's a poor idea when you're as platoon heavy as I am. What the hell? So Wichita finished ahead of Phoenix. That sucks. No, I mean, good for...
Well, they tied.
Good for the genius, but, like, poor Marco.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I was surprised to see that out of Phoenix.
I mean,
I think they got Wichita's about where I thought they would be. Phoenix is a lot worse.
It was pitching injuries, right? I mean, they lost their pitchers. They lost Bob Corrigan and Jose Trujillo. And
His whole starting rotation was hurt at one point.
Yeah, I remember that. That was...
Ugh. Marco should have been your primary.
Depth.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you look at they were 15. They were last in runs, last in starters ERA, and second to last in bullpen ERA, and it's like, well, that's how you don't win games.
So
but if you look at base runs, they were actually 82 and 80 by base runs, so they definitely had a lot of bad luck, especially on the pitching side.
Well, and also because he generally, I mean, he's got Meyer and Stromberg are good defenders, but he doesn't really. I mean, I guess he's shifted a little bit on that regard, but he doesn't really have great defense that I remembered. But maybe now it's better than I thought.
Yeah, say his defense isn't terrible. Kerndl's not great at third. But the rest of these guys, Barone's great at second.
He just brought him up though, but yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
And Ripley's a monster in center, and Mayer in right now is great. I forgot that he moved him over to right because he was playing Ortiz out there in right field, and that was terrible.
What do you guys think? And I'm trying to find it of the Phoenix, the Tufu Young trade, which I can't find. Why can't I find this trade?
Tufu for Stromberg and a couple other pieces.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that deal?
I wish she had traded Tufu Young to me, but I'm obviously biased.
It's the top. It's the very top trade on the.
Yep, I found it. I found it. So, I'm not sure why Marco didn't like Tufu Young. I think he said he wasn't sure. He just said he just felt like he didn't kind of like him. I almost kind of wonder if he just lost patience with the guy when he was too young.
Could be.
And Manuel Martinez has been a perennial overachiever with some versatility.
I don't know. I mean, I've brought it up a couple of times. I don't know how he ever got as good as he did because he was in that Ignacio trade. He was the other piece.
Yeah, I don't like Voito Stromberg. I don't.
He's a little behind in his development. Stromberg is, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know if he doesn't get that eye. Like he is a very. I mean, he's a 2 to 3 win player. If he gets that eye, I don't know that he's much more than the 4-win player, and I think Young just has way more upside.
I think Young is going to be hideously expensive. I mean, his second year of ARB is next year, and he's going to be at $9.5 million already.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
that's probably part of it.
In Nashville, I mean, Nashville's got money because
he got nothing else to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this trade a lot better for Nashville than I do for Phoenix because Stromberg. I mean, I like Stromberg, but he's got to develop. The rest of these guys, I mean, you got 2 relievers and then Avila, who's
Avila's-
well developed for 18,
but
but
probably a DH and could
That's-
lump. I mean that he's that if that outfield range drops at all, he's not playable in the outfield.
Mhm.
And even Marco's already got like 3 guys like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh well, he traded Martin Marin too, right, to Omaha.
yeah, to Omaha.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
I think Martin Marin's one of those players that I had overrated, just because he's got all those blue numbers, and he's going to crush left-handed pitching. But he shouldn't be playing outfield. I don't care if he's got a 6 rating. You just can't play with sub 5 range. It's just awful. And he is what did Omaha send for him?
Gunther Popmeyer.
Yeah,
Popmeyer's, he's not. He'll be a good reliever conversion maybe, but Yang's kind of the main get.
yeah, and he may or maybe 17, right? So who knows? And he's not a third baseman.
Yeah.
So it says he is, but he is a first baseman. Those are first baseman ratings.
Which, if he develops, that bat will play at first. But yeah.
Gunther Poopmeyer. His name is Poopmeyer. He's one of my. I just like this guy a lot. I hope he works out. It's just I'm really sad that David Krappenschitz lumped and is not a good player. That would have been fantastic. So poor Marco. Marco's I played in the GBC with Marco, and I like Marco. I think he's entertaining and fun guy. I think his post, a couple years ago when he made all the used car saying, what was that? I need to go look that one up. It was just awesome.
I remember that one. That was good.
That was great.
Speaking of poor GMs, do we want to talk about Cal Russo?
No. I mean, Cal Russo doesn't want us to talk about Cal Russo. He posted today about bringing up Riggs Carpenter, who I agree has one of the best nicknames.
Riggs the Mad.
He's my custom amp.
Is he?
Is he?
What's
Well done, Fred.
What's he about? Is that just a thing?
He's a character from a quest from the game Ancient Domains of Mystery.
Oh,
It's a roguelike computer game.
that
sounds about right.
Super nerdy and fantastic.
I know, I love it.
So he's when he said that, when I posted, I'm excited to see him. I'm ruining it now because I didn't have the heart to do it, but I was almost, and I hope he doesn't go the way of the rest of your young starters because that's.
Well, somebody already posted keep John Wick away from him.
Yeah. Oh man, John Wick is mine. I'm so sad because John Wick was going to be a beast, and it's great because it's John Wick, which
Yeah, but
I can love that guy.
I mean, looking at his rotation, there is no reason Carpenter shouldn't be his opening day starter whatsoever.
No.
San Antonio's like Madison South with all the pitching injuries now.
Yeah, and the one thing is that Cal Russo, I briefly had on for one of these. We had some audio difficulty and couldn't get the whole thing to work out, and I got a little bit better insight into what he does, but I just continually think that I don't like his batter evaluation. I just think he is definitely a pitching and defense guy, which is my thing, but I don't know.
You got to have some skill with picking hitters.
Right, he posted the thing today about how George Clausen was disappointing, and I'm looking at George Clausen, who against right-handed pitching is a right-handed bat with 6.67, 6.6 ratings. What do you expect that guy to do besides be terrible? That's and granted, if he develops all the way, he's 25, so he probably won't. If he develops all the way, I think he's a fine player, just a regular. Basically.
I think he's probably somewhere in between what he was last year and this year. I don't think he's 195 bad, but
no, but he's not. But he's not an 869 OPS good. He just isn't.
No, no, he's not.
And he's got. Look at his face, man. I don't know if you guys are clicking on this, but he's got. Look at that dude. He is just
He's got the punchable face.
Yeah, so. Little bit of a diversion to real baseball. I don't want. I don't know why Manny Machado just. If you just look at the faces he makes during baseball games, he's just so unlikable.
I'll take Machado. My team hasn't had a functional third baseman since Robin Ventura.
It's not that I don't want the guy,
and I love Joe Creedy, but no, I mean Ventura is the last good third baseman we had.
It's not that I don't respect that he's good and he's worth the money. It's just I don't want to watch him. He's such a twat. I just can't stand watching him play. He's just such a
I mean, we had AJ Przinsky for like 6 or 7 years, so we can handle assholes on the south side of Chicago.
There's a difference, right? Like AJ Przinsky is a self-described asshole who knows that he's kind of a jerk. Like Manny Machado is just like, he reminds me of like the guy that he just thinks like big fish in a little pond, thinks he's better than everybody else. Like just. I don't know, man. I just can't stand his face and the faces he makes.
I just can't stand his face.
Go look at clips and look at all the faces he's making after like guys like after the call that he doesn't like, or someone throws inside, or like he looks like a teenage, like the guy that's gonna be a frat boy but isn't a frat boy yet, but it's like, like quarterback of the football team, but like something didn't go his way. Like he's just a fucking
He's never worn a collared shirt without popping the collar in his whole life.
Yeah, he's just,
well, is that Machado or is that Bryce Harper?
Yes, is the answer.
Bryce
to that.
Harper,
the most overrated player in baseball. Yeah,
that guy's a butthole surfer.
Oh. Well, and with that, we have covered the Sun Belt. Tyler's good, right? Like moving on to the Southeast, Tyler's just good. He's a nice.
He'll find a way to get it done. I mean,
he's a nice guy and he's quiet and he doesn't like. Unlike the rest of us, like Fred's pretty close to this, but like Ron's good and Ron will tell you he's good, and I'm good and I will tell you I'm good. And Randy
I'm the same way.
And
Randy, even if you're bad, you tell us that you're good.
The thing is, Steven, like you're not.
I wouldn't know what it's like to be bad, Fred, so I'll let you know that.
Steven, you're not the guy that's going to brag, but like if someone asks you like, hey, what's going on with this and why is this working for you? You'll be like, well, this is what I was doing. And like, you'll like Tyler's just quiet. Like he just doesn't really say a lot about his team or like but he's good, man. Like he's
very good. He's very good.
Speaking of guys who will tell you that they're good, look at Stever.
I think
he didn't make the playoffs. Do we have to? Did he make the playoffs?
No,
he's a wild card, isn't he?
Nope, he didn't.
Oh yeah.
Which is why Ted dodged. We got one more year, Ted, to dodge it.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I was looking at that. Yeah.
One more year.
He overachieved massively last year, and I think it set his expectations for what his team could do a little bit higher. And none of us are immune to that. Like some of us are, better than others at going, okay, I shouldn't expect this, but none of us are immune to when everything goes right, expecting it to happen again. And Yelanian had as bad of a year as he possibly could. And, David Hall kind of regressed to the mean a little bit. It was still, David Hall was still fucking amazing. Jesus Christ.
Sandcastle kept sliding down slowly.
He's 41, though.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
I don't know how you could be unhappy. He's 41.
No. Oh, no. But,
and the best part is that it's Leon Sandcastle. That's that is the old guy that's good forever.
Now, because I think Stever said he's declining that option, so I wonder, it'll be interesting to see or if assuming he doesn't retire.
Who was...
Stu will sign him. Then he'll write some hilarious team news about it.
I've missed Stu's team news. I am sad that, I don't know if he's just been busy or Wichita is not very...
I think he posted something that he's been slammed this last couple months.
Well, he does way better at being the arrogant jackass winner. So when his team's not competitive, it probably just doesn't have much to say. Leon's, do you guys remember those commercials? I actually forgot about them. The name kept bothering me, and I had to look it up because I was like, what is going on? But how perfect is it that that's the guy that lived forever and played as an old man?
Considering I think Deion Sanders could probably still play in the NFL now.
Right. Yeah. What I would give, right? I'm 38. I tried to play basketball earlier. That's why I'm here to do this early. So the reason for 9 is today was going to be basketball night. I usually get home about 8:15, 8:30, take a shower. Would have been ready by 9. Yeah, I tried to guard a guy that was 28, and he broke my ankle. Literally broke my ankle. And I'm sitting here with an ice pack. One of the reasons I wanted to start this early is I was just going to sit here and fume and be pissed off for an hour that I'm slow and old. And so I'm happy to be doing something else.
That's why you got to play a contact sport. I mean, like I'm not as quick as I once was on the rink, but I'm still bigger than everybody.
Well, that's what I do now. I've transitioned to old man, just beat you up in the paint basketball. Like, people hate me, but
Throwing elbows and shit.
we didn't have enough people today to play full court, so we were playing like half court, and that means I've got to guard people at the 3-point line, and that's just not happening when I'm old. Yeah, it's just terrible. All right, so Huntsville, Jacksonville, Nashville. Do you think this is real?
All the Vills.
I think he's almost like Stever. I think he's a year ahead.
11th place offense. Come with us with the base runs, Steven. What are the base runs? 11th place offense, seventh best pitching. I think he overachieved tremendously.
By Pitt, he wasn't that far above. I think he was only like 2 games above.
His base runs record was 72 and 90, so he was 3 games up on base runs.
No,
72 would be 8 games.
8 games up on base runs.
But let me look at Pith. I want to say by Pith he was up 2 because he was 78 and 84 by Pythagorean.
What was his record?
80 and 82.
80 and 82. So, yeah, 78 and 84. Sorry, did I misspeak? 78 and 84 was his base runs.
Okay,
so he was 2 games, which, I mean, 2 games isn't that drastic one way or the other.
But here's the thing, right? Like, Don Bird had a 4.24 ERA at 131 innings this year. That shit ain't happening again.
Well, I'm pretty sure he solely got Don Bird to face Stever every single time. I bet you if you look at Don Bird's starts, he faced Huntsville probably 4 times.
Oh, that's possible. I mean, Francisco Luna legitimately is a decent starter. Atsumori Maeda.
I hate that Luna's good.
Yeah.
Why do you
hate? I traded him.
Oh,
you can say because he traded him.
Well,
that was the Garcia Stromberg trade. That was what got it done. Was adding Luna in there.
Don fucking Bird. You got to be kidding me. How
about Atsumori Maeda?
Yeah, but he's gonna be gone.
Boy.
Like, that's the point. Is that you can't?
Well, he's around.
I think he extended him.
Is he gonna do this again next year?
He signed him to an extension, I think. Yeah, 2.6 for next year.
God, Maeda's yours, Fred. Holy crap, you just said that, but I forgot. I remember him being a Calgary guy, but yeah.
Yep. I think that a 4 ERA is a reasonable expectation for him next year if he doesn't take any more ratings hits. If he loses his pitches, I mean, all bets are off. But
I mean, with that offense, he's got a good top half of his lineup. I mean, with Kamade, Tufu, Suarez, and Jackson.
All right.
But that's less than half. Less than half. I mean, Luo is pretty good too, but I mean, he's got to find a couple bats.
He's better. He's better than I think he is. Than I thought he was. You're right.
I mean, he's not great. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
what's he got coming up next year?
Guys, I'm gonna hop off for just a second.
Okay.
All right. What are you saying, Ted?
I'm just looking at we're turning from the year in review to what's going on next year with Nashville because I think
I could see them. I mean, they're a team where it heavily depends on what they do in free agency.
Ata's not that close. Yeah,
they're not going to get help. They're not going to get help from their minors.
This is a year you could do something in free agency, though. So Lucas McNeil, that's who they need. They need to go get Lucas McNeil.
Well, because he's got. I wish I could see how much money does he have for next year. Because I think his budget got bumped. I know I was talking to him about that. He's real happy about that.
So
he can go sign all of Yellow Springs free agents.
Yeah.
De Castillo is a free agent.
Basically, I mean, take your pick of those guys.
Um,
He has $76 million in salaries for next year.
What's his budget going to be, though?
Probably around 100, I think he was saying.
Oh, so he's got some room. So, what the hell happened to the team number 2 for me is New Orleans. What the heck? Like, what?
I mean, yeah, trading Delgado and getting worthless Sam Romero didn't help. But, I mean, that doesn't explain all of it.
Fred, residence guy, actually in that league. Do you have any thoughts, or were you not surprised that they're not good?
I just always expect him to be good. I don't even care what his team looks like. I just always expect him to be up there.
Right.
But just looking at it, it looks like he had some. I mean, like, he had some top heavy guys. Like May is obviously really good. Cravat. He's just gonna hit all the homers. But
Schaefer hit 42. Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing for me that's like Vargo was up, like that's good, but I mean he had 27, I guess, but I would have expected more out of him. Like he just had some underperforming guys. Like Costa put up a negative 1.54. He hit 172 and 79 starts.
And then his entire like Amaral got old,
Fast.
which is funny because he's only 28.
Yeah.
But
yeah, everybody sucked.
Sam Romero just sucks now,
which is so weird. Why does Sam Romero suck? I don't
know, but I'm glad I got rid of him when I did.
He's gonna need some help too because he doesn't have crap coming up out of the minors.
No.
From Romero looks like pitching standpoint.
Romero looks like he might be lumping some of that stuff too.
Yeah, I am not going to be picking any champs. My picks have all fallen apart.
Like Louisville.
So let's look at that Romero deal while we're at this.
We're not doing what you want to do, Randy, just so you're aware.
Well, we were talking about my trade, so that's fine with me.
I don't even listen to what Randy says half the time during these. I just talk.
That's what he does too, so.
I can't find your deal. What the hell? Where's your deal? San Fernando. There's too many deals this year, by the way.
I found it.
It's Matusek or Bratislav something or other, and then Gonzalez. If you look at his prospects list, it is, hold on. It's his second and third prospects plus Sam Romero for Freddie Delgado.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, like, I remember looking at that and really understanding why Jim made that deal, but, like, obviously in retrospect now, you're like, man, Romero was terrible. What the hell?
He wanted Kinney, and I'm like, no, how about Romero? And he said, okay.
Should not have said okay.
Well, I would not have made the trade. I would not have made the trade if it was Kinney, so I wasn't going to do it, so...
Wait, so who did you get from you? I can't.
He got, if you look at his prospects list, Lorenzo Gonzalez, Bratislav Marusek, and Sam Romero for Freddie Delgado.
That's still not so bad. That's not going to be terrible for him.
Well, it depends on. Those guys are way far away. So,
Marusek's 19 though, so like he's made it out of like the scariest you might lumps era. He is probably a designated hitter, which is unfortunate. But he'll be a good one. I mean, he's fast as shit and doesn't miss the baseball ever. And then Gonzalez,
he's a Brett Compton shortstop.
Yeah. He should learn what we should learn right now is just make him a second baseman or a third baseman maybe is the other option. But
yeah, because he's got the arm out there for third.
Yeah, but when you try to play those low error guys. It's short.
He's pretty well developed for 17 too.
He is,
at least contacting.
That doesn't mean anything, says Felipe Rosado.
True. True.
Fucker. And then Louisville. Stu is just the biggest asshat. Oh, he just left that place, just set the building on fire, and walked right out the fucking door. Just sitting there.
Poor Nige.
Like I don't know that Nige has not made the best moves, but
Sean McGuire, hi.
But he walked into a tough sit. Like everybody got expensive at the same time.
That was a house of cards, just waiting to.
Oh man. All right, so year in review.
What happened to, Kevin Morales this year was. What happened to him?
I don't know. What happened to Pepe Jaramillo? Like
too many homers for Morales. Way too many.
Not
homers.
even more than he's given up the last couple of years, though.
His home run per 9 was up.
That's true. I didn't realize he only threw 150. Ooh.
Yeah,
I didn't realize the innings were that much different.
Yeah, Kevin Morales and Pepe Jaramillo were supposed to carry them like forever. Somehow Pepe Jaramillo had a 5.78 ERA this year. And I'm going to guess too many home runs.
That'll keep his
FIP, but
keep his ARB number down for his first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also nearly doubled his home run allowed rate. Interestingly, I don't know if this is a version change issue, but my right-handed pitchers are getting crushed.
I have all right-handed pitchers, and
you're not giving up 50. You're not giving up home 50. Runs. Okay.
No, but
hasn't that always been a thing though?
Yeah, because the lefty bats are all huge power hitters. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like lefty pitchers have always fared a lot better than righty pitchers.
I just add one. Like literally, like if you tell me like I just add 1 to all their ratings. Like, you tell me a lefty pitcher is 888, that's a 999 righty. I think they're that much better. That I don't think it should be that way.
There's definitely a bigger platoon advantage when it's lefty versus lefty than when it's righty versus righty.
Yeah, and Ron did a study of. Remember, he ended up looking at the platoon advantage, and his study kind of showed that it's not maybe as big as we're claiming it is. But I just don't think that the numbers, he's right, but I don't think it bears out, and it just doesn't feel like it.
I think what I recall from that is that the lefty platoon advantage is pretty real, but the righty, there's not really a real righty platoon advantage.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know. I don't remember the details of it. I could try to argue it all I want, but I don't recall. Hey, Rockville finished in first.
Yeah, they snuck up. I think they had a huge, last week or two. And
Rockville's good, man.
I'm still terrified of his team.
It gets frightening. This is what Aaron does, though. I've been in the leagues with Aaron for 15 years now. And he builds a monster, and then he rebuilds and builds another monster, and rebuilds and builds another monster. And they're frightening. I am so happy that Gomez is finally falling apart. I'm just so that he doesn't it's the Ricardo Diaz Pep Gomez battle, and he's not going to pass him on some stuff now. That makes me happy.
But is Gomez falling apart?
Yeah,
compared to what it was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
His ratings are he pitched amazingly this year.
I was gonna say, by performance, he's not falling apart at all.
No, but this is as good as he's gonna do with those ratings. I would not be surprised if he was bad by the end of next year. He is reaching the arm falling off, just lumping velocity at an astonishing range.
Well, he's got one more season before he hits some vesting options, so.
Yeah.
Looks like that contract is going to be timed just about right.
No, but
then he can come back and get his 11 strikeouts out of the bullpen for me and wire it off into the sunset.
Oh, yeah. Your bad start is Bob Coleman. That's not so bad. You got Dan Cannon. That's just a good staff. The Dave Martin deal. So I when I saw that deal, because New Orleans was trying to sell, they were selling everything that wasn't stapled down because they were just playing terribly. And so they were trying to get somebody to take Dave Martin, and I thought they were just asking too much for him.
So did I, because I asked about him, and I thought it was too much.
When I saw this deal, I was like, holy crap, Aaron, what are you doing? But I didn't realize that the part of the negotiation was that Martin had to sign an extension first. And now I'm more okay with it, I think, right?
I was in on those negotiations as well, and I just was not willing to pay the price.
Nope.
Yeah, Martin for a rental to give up. Georges is nothing tremendously exciting. Karlomov's old; he was a throw-in, but Jim Armstrong, will be a decent reliever. And then Pedro Mendez, again, he could be nothing. He's so far away, he could be absolutely nothing. But, with no extension, I would say Jim Armstrong for Martin's a fair deal. The other stuff. Arthur Norris, he's overpriced for what he is at this point in his career.
And he was redundant for Jim, too, so.
Yeah. But again, it's worked out well though. Norris. It's not like Norris doesn't have a role to play for.
Right.
And they're just stacked. They're just totally stacked. Just great players everywhere. I can't believe that this guy, Aaron, traded Mark Simpson and still has Mario Gurr, Manuel Marino. What the hell?
Mark Simpson for Arthur Dempster, bad trade or worst trade ever?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that if Arthur Dempster had stayed on your team, he would have gotten hurt and lumped into nothing.
Well, and not only that, too, Dempster, in a system like yours, Steven, you don't work your starters a ton. So it's not as big of an advantage for you to have a guy like Dempster because he's only going to pitch 5 innings anyway.
True.
I would take a pitcher over a first baseman just in the way I do things.
Oh, so would I, but you and I also, like, we let our pitchers go 100, 105, 110 pitches.
Right.
Lane cuts his off
But
at like 85.
Simpson has been a 5 to 6 win player for you over and over and over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with Mark Simpson. He is.
No.
Yeah,
tremendous.
Simpson's been great.
So a little off topic here, but Dempster looks like he's in line for a 4th arbitration year this offseason.
Is he the Super 2?
It must have been, yeah. I didn't even look at that. But yeah, I was just looking at that like, what the hell is happening here?
Let me see. Hold on.
Geez, what is he going to arbitrate to? He's already at $10.6 million.
11 and change.
You think that's all they'll give him?
11,750 is what his estimate is on his player screen.
Yeah, but those have been
I
getting
just
crushed
really
sometimes
thought
recently.
his control was going to hold him back.
Yeah, well, you like those control guys. I just
What is his control rated right now?
6.
Jeez, that's just kind of crazy to me that he can be so good with a 6 control.
yeah, but people can't hit anything he throws. Like he gets away with like pitches that people just swing through.
You know what it was? You know what it was? Now that I remember, I traded him just before we switched the settings to show ratings over potential.
Oh, so he was 10.
He was 10, and maybe I should have realized that he was above 10 because of his individual pitch ratings, but he wasn't a 13 stuff guy when I traded him away.
Yeah, I'm glad we made that change. I wish. I don't think there's a way to do it. My preference would be to never show potential over 10, but to show actual. So if they actually get above 10, show it, but don't show you potential ratings above 10. I think that'd be cooler. But I don't think you can do that.
So I was looking at, because I was wondering about the arbitration thing for Dempster. He only had one automatic renewal year, and it was for $1 million. Other than that, it's been arbitration every time.
He must have had. He's signed
a
major league contract.
I think he was a major league contract
And
out of the draft.
a 4-year major league contract for $4 million out of the draft.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair. Okay.
So
yeah, it was.
Again,
you're right.
We're just talking about teams. We're not doing a good job of reviewing because we're distractible.
Nashville's good.
Is it?
Yeah, get your plug in, blah, blah.
Oh, not Nashville, Rockville. I've had too many. Rockville's good.
Rockville's good. Rockville had to fight for their division. Did anybody think Rockville would have to fight for their division at all?
No.
Like,
No. Although, full credit to Gareth for because walking into a John Callahan team and managing not to screw it up is,
yeah, I'm okay with it because like John was amazing, and we just apparently replaced him with another really good person, so the league didn't get harder. I'm okay with that. He didn't. Montreal wasn't really in it, right? Didn't he step in and they just caught fire? Like Garrett they weren't like bad.
No, I think Gareth had him the whole season, didn't he?
No, I think
yes, I think so. Well, the change took place at some point because when we were doing whenever we did the last AFBI podcast, Recty was talking about John potentially leaving, and
I think it was during this year.
The timing.
I think before the season, John said, "Hey, I'm just going to custodian this team until you get somebody." But I think I think Gareth came in like during the year.
Yeah, I should know this, but I honestly can't keep up this season. It's been bad with the.
Well, they were 38-14 in June and July, so that helps.
That'll do.
Jubal Troop's good. I don't know if I expected him to be this good. He's a lefty though, so again, add one. It's the lack of a strong fourth pitch that had me worried about him. Kondo had a good Kondo year. I think he will always be somebody that goes back and forth because every once in a while he'll just give up 40 home runs.
Yep.
But they're going to be 40 solo home runs because there's going to be nobody else on base.
Right. Manuel Pena, shouldn't have traded him to you with Kenny. I gave away 2 pretty good starters. I didn't expect.
I swindled you.
Yeah. Jesus Flores.
And then I sent Pena, and that was in the Gilstrom deal. Along with Kondo and Santana and Luis Gonzalez.
Never give up on a knuckleballer. That's what I learned out of this. Just don't do it. I don't know. I thought Montreal was kind of on their way down, but it looks like they look like they're in better shape than I thought they were.
Yeah, his team's still real good.
Well,
Yeah.
Just depth and depth.
Benjamin Dale bounced back. Didn't he struggle a couple years ago? And we were wondering if he would ever end up doing anything, but he woke up this year.
Who did?
Not really.
Yeah, I think that's somebody else. Yeah.
So let's move on to another one of my perennial discounted by Ted Schmidt every year, and I think I'm gonna write the Johnson previews. I think it's my turn to do Johnson next year, and I will once again beat up Josh Biddle's team, and they're just gonna. Steven, where are you with my base runs for Atlantic City? Because how did they win 90 games?
Reality stats boy, get in here.
Is he gone?
I don't know.
Did we lose him still?
I'm just looking at his pitching, and I have no idea how. I can tell you that much.
I will do it myself. I will open Stats Plus while you guys talk about things.
You're the moderator. We need you.
Rogelio Vasquez is his number one starter.
Yep.
I mean,
he has sneaky good bats. Okay, yeah, there we go. Base runs record 80 and 82.
So he was projected to be, for all the grief we were giving Nashville, base runs has Atlantic City is 2 games better than Nashville.
Oh yeah, but I didn't think Atlantic City was going to be any good.
I didn't either. So I'm with you.
I mean, you've got Byung-Do Yi, who is a person that's alive.
That was the Cannon trade. That was one of the main guys that came back in that Cannon deal.
He's a lefty. There's something, There's a little thing there. Add 1, right? So he's a 9.76 righty starter. Essentially what he is.
With 2 pitches.
Yep. Dusty Welch is okay. There's nothing wrong with Dusty Welch. He's a serviceable, back half the rotation guy. And the same thing I think with Francisco Barrera. Serviceable. Although not this year. But could have been.
Did he cut Correa? Did I just miss that?
He must have.
Because I don't see him on there. I was wondering, when are they going to have salary cap room with the Correa deal? But
yeah, he released him in October. He just released him.
Okay.
We talked before the season that he got out of the. He got so lucky with the.
Oh God! With Lopez retiring.
Yeah, and then he's bought out the Correa deal, and we were and he spent it all on Salazar. And it worked. Well, maybe it worked.
Well, I mean, he had a
3.
Very nice. I mean.
I think this one's gonna get ugly though. Well, it's not that long. I guess he's only got to play next year. He did it this year though. That's he's the best right-handed bat I've seen play for a long time. Just be consistently good.
Well, Frank Thomas.
I was gonna say FT3.
I have a short memory. Leave me alone.
Did he play for you?
For half a season. Again, leave me alone. There's some sneaky good bats on here that you don't know. Adrian Salazar is a nice hitting first baseman. A nice.
How does Stanley Perlmutter hit 30? How does he hit that many home runs?
He's got 9 power from the left against right-handed pitching. Left-handed bats, man. He's 7'9". He's 7. Who cares about gap power? So 7'5", whatever. 9.77. He's a solid, good bat. Great glove in the outfield. That's a good player. This is what I'm talking about. He's got these sneaky good. One of the most underrated player in the league probably is Ricardo Hernandez. Nobody.
Yeah.
And he has just been a tremendous. He's losing the range.
Yeah, I was gonna say I underrate that guy because he's playing him in center field.
But
who did you get for Perlmutter, Fred?
Chang Hyuk Chang.
Yeah, that ain't bad though. Chang is a great player. I think that's probably that's still a fair value trade.
And destined for free agency this offseason.
Asking for too much?
If you think, hold on, how much is he asking for now? It was $21 million a couple sims ago.
Jesus.
17 now for 6 years.
So Ricardo Hernandez, who doesn't look like a center fielder, had a -.2 zone rating this year and a efficiency above 1.
He had a -4.1. His .2 was from Colombia.
I'm looking at the wrong.
WCB.
Wrong one. Okay, negative. It's still not bad. -4.1 is not.
Certainly could be worse.
Yeah, and if you move that guy to a corner, his bat still plays. even with a 227 batting average, which is crazy. But he's a quietly good player. Bucky Dornster, another one, like just a good player.
Yep.
He's 26 million in 2038 though.
Yeah, that's awful contract, but good player.
Good player.
Is that when the Lopez and Correa contracts were projected to be off the books? I think is that when that was?
Probably.
Yeah, but you know what?
Keith Dean, the best nickname in baseball.
What? He's not. He's not the best nickname in baseball. He's not.
No, Urig's the Man is the best
nickname.
Nope,
not him either. He's the best nickname in baseball belongs to a guy that is...
Is it Dave Wilfer?
No, I thought it was...
Manny Valle.
No, I thought he was on Jacksonville, but maybe Tyler traded him.
Dave Wilfer is a great nickname, though.
Dave Wilfer.
No, it's the guy who is, he was on Madison, and he got traded to somebody, but he literally is a bench warmer, and his nickname is Bench Warmer. That's the best one in the league. Who is that?
Hold on.
I thought Madison...
Morris Sharapenko is a bench warmer.
Yeah, that's who it is, I think.
There's actually 3 guys that have had the nickname Bench Warmer. Carlos Nunez, starting pitcher whose nickname is Bench Warmer, and Daniel O'Sullivan.
Where's the current bench warmer?
St. Paul, Calgary's AAA team.
What's he doing in Calgary's AAA team?
Damn, that's who Jacksonville traded him to.
These bench warmers move around. Why do they move around so much?
He has to warm up all the benches in multiple countries.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Brooklyn.
Can we scrap the Cyclone, please?
That's terrible. You know what?
Or at the very least, if you want to do a Cyclone for 4 out of your 5 starters, that's fine, but don't throw Mauro Flores in the Cyclone.
I know. The part of me that's like the part of me that's like the baseball historian part of me, the part of me that wants to see awesome things happen, just hates that. Hates it so much. And people would argue that, like, I don't know, I don't think the Cyclone's a bad idea for real baseball. I think it doesn't work in OTP, and I think it actually did work out in the second half for Allen somewhat. Like when I was talking to the pitching podcast, it was totally falling apart. But I don't think OTP can manage the Cyclone. I just don't think it can do it.
No.
And
watching OTP manage the Cyclone is like watching Mike Matheny manage a baseball team.
Oh God, it still hurt. It still makes me sad. Not really. It's actually opposite ends. If you could find what the Cyclone is like, if there was a progressive manager that was as retarded as Matheny is retarded about being old school and shitty, that's what you would end up with. It's terrible.
You were talking about good right-handed bats, though. How about Fernando Cruz?
I was actually thinking about trading for Fernando Cruz. He mentioned that he might be on the block. I was considering offering both of those IFA signings I have this year and maybe somebody else to see if I get Fernando Cruz.
The contract is back.
Then I saw how much he's paying him, and you just can't pay a DH that much, right? That's...
And there's no way to get out of it either. There's no vesting, there's no team, there's no opt-out.
No, and I love Fernando Cruz. Again, just a great right-handed bat, like the good kind, good eye, good ABK, not just a bunch of home runs.
Now, I mean, that deal will take him through his 32-year-old season, so he's not going to be...
The length is fine, it's just too much. If he could play first base, it'd even be okay, but he's not a first baseman, he's a DH. And that's just too much for a DH. What do I know? I don't think...
Aren't you paying? How much are you paying Fernando Moreno to be a DH?
Oh, Fernando Moreno's a first baseman. I'm just
is he?
playing him a DH because I have another first baseman. That's a little
just
bit better.
interesting. He's gonna have to do something. Allen is. He's already projected for $114.3 million in salary next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless he declines Flores.
Maybe I should trade for Flores. I'm gonna talk to Allen soon. Chris Workman. How's Chris Workman doing? Year in review, Chris Workman. He's done. Chris Workman has finally, at 35, reached done. That's unfortunate. I bet you could still get something out of him. Like somebody that wanted to play him at first base that didn't have a first baseman. Wanted to use him in a platoon role. Probably still get something out of that guy.
350 on base. I mean,
yeah. I don't know what happened to Sean Smith. He died. He's just, which sucks. I love those defense first catchers, and he's
had a down year. Of course, he's 30.
He's lumped like crazy. I mean, too though. I think he's lost he's lost a point of everything.
1 point of contact is all it's showing in his player history,
and one eye,
and catcher defense.
Well,
point of eye too, I guess.
Elijah Curry is just not good.
I don't know. I'm happy that I don't have to play Allen in the playoffs.
Well, I think part of it is when Allen beats you, it's because you know that you were out rostered. And it just gets like a shitty feeling behind. Like you're like, God damn it! It's like when someone tricks you. And you're just like, this is bullshit. Like I have better players, you asshole. You're just doing crazy shit.
You play a whole playoff series against him, and no starter pitches more than an inning for him. No pitcher does.
Well, and we all knew Charm City would be bad.
It's been coming. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked Winston at all.
Who would take him?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, nobody probably, but I mean, you got to try, right?
Well,
Stu traded for Ken Jenkins. I mean.
That Ken Jenkins made like $10 million a year less than Carl Winston.
Yeah, for now.
And was also like 8 years younger, wasn't it? Or like 5 years younger.
I'm going to take a little bit of break here and call this kind of part one and end for a little bit. There's a whole nother hour of audio where we do some wrap up on kind of overall stuff for the season in review. And then we get into some playoff predictions. But we were kind of starting to lag here a little bit. And I thought it made a nice little break point before we get going again. So thanks for listening to this half. And Randy and maybe Steven, if he ever shows up again. And Fred and I will be back to do a little bit more discussion of these same topics and again end with some playoff predictions. Thanks for listening.